race fans, and welcome to the 2013 year for the Outlaw Truck Series, the Real Sim Racing League. I'm Michael Keaton. In the booth with me tonight, J.D. Webb. This is it, the 2013 race number 3 out of a short race, 10-week season, J.D. Things are starting to shape up. The battle for the points is heating up, and tonight we're at Chicagoland where the lights are on the track, and it's going to be an exciting night.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's kind of fun to be back up here in the booth. I covered the race with the Monday night Real Sim Racing Series here last week, actually this week, on Monday night with Wesley Outland. So it's kind of fun to be back up here in the booth. Looking forward to a great race here at Chicagoland Speedway tonight. And I see some familiar names, out there on practice. Been watching Chad Colescott Granberg. They've been kind of duking it out during practice here. Both of them laying down some pretty fast lap times. But hey, don't count Joe Reuter out either. He's your points leader.
Absolutely, and JD, let's take everybody back to a couple of weeks ago before the New Year and the Christmas holiday. Back in Homestead, Bobby Terrell picking up the win for the first time of the season, leading 29 laps, getting it done. And you just mentioned one fast guy on the racetrack right now, Scott Granberg, who finished second at Homestead a couple of weeks ago.
You bet. And I mistakenly said that Joe Reuter were your points leader. Actually, Rhett McBride is the points leader. Not quite sure where I got Joe Reuter's name from, but I'll tell you what, the points are close. And again, a lot of familiar names here tonight, and this ought to be a fun race here at Chicagoland.
Rhett McBride finished third last week, or at Homestead. Sam Edwards fourth. Sam started real far back into the field, 21st position, but a couple of late cautions went his way. Ended up finishing fourth there for him.
You bet. And Jose Gonzalez finished fifth at Homestead, and then finishing sixth with Joe Reuter.
Brian Lovingood picking up a strong 7th place finish for him. Moved up a couple of points in the standings. And John Abbott getting that 8th spot, starting 14th last race at Homestead, but able to crack the top 10 in the 8th position.
And Kyle Taraska, look for him here on January 24th with Josh Gerlach with the new radio show here on ETV Live, the Pit Report. Kyle started 16th last time out here at Homestead, finished 9th. Doug Roche bringing up your top 10 here, finishing positions at Homestead. Doug started 24th, respectable top 10 finish for him.
Absolutely, and here's the shakeout. Here's the top 10 in points. That was the top 10 last race number 2 at Homestead Miami Speedway a couple of weeks ago. But the top 10 as they stand, Rhett McBride leading the field, just 4 points over Doug Roth, who both guys are looking for the first win of the season. And at Chicagoland, I tell you what, these guys are really hungry for their first win, but that's the first 2 in the points.
And Joe Reuter, we just mentioned his name a bit ago, finishing 6th at Homestead. He's in 3rd. He's 7 points off the lead, only 3 points in back of Doug Ross. So a whole lot of room, not a whole lot of room there, but it should be a pretty good points night for all these guys. And then in 4th position is going to be Bobby Terrell. Look for Bobby to have a good finish here tonight. Bobby's got a pretty good practice session here coming into Chicagoland tonight. Bobby's sitting 9 points in back of the leader, and he finished first, taking a trophy home at Homestead last week.
And then you got Dwayne Vincent there, a man that's been really consistent with the Real Sim Racing Leagues as far as the trucks is concerned, as far as the Monday night Real Sim Racing Icebreaker Series as well. Dwayne Vincent really been consistent here lately in the 5th position. And Brian Lovingood sitting there 13 points back from the leader, 1 point from Dwayne Vincent in 6th.
And in 7th position, Scott Granberg, he finished 2nd at Homestead. Scott Granberg looks like, qualifying session is still underway. However, early results putting Scott Granberg on the pole here tonight at Chicago. Scott sits 16 points off the lead, only 3 points behind Lovingood. And in 8th position, Nicholas Silver. Nicholas finished 23rd, way down at the bottom at Homestead. But he sits in 8th position, 17 off the lead, only 1 point in back of Granberg. So I tell you, it's a very close points race as we go into Chicagoland here tonight.
And then tied for a respectively 9th in points, Lawrence Phillips and Stephen Herring, both 18 out from the leader, Rhett McBride. And you mentioned Scott Granberg right now on the pole. He's already got 1 pole already this year, or this season. And JD, looks like he may claim another one. That's good for him. I think they'll pick up a bonus point for that. And as the qualifying is still underway, I think we have a couple of more minutes to go. But nonetheless, Chicagoland, really tough racetrack to get around, JD. We're hearing that the bumps in turn 3 and 4 is really making the cars unsettled, which means if you're trying to pinch somebody down in the corners, you might see a wreck pretty easily because of the way that this turn here in 3 and 4 at Chicagoland is treating these cars.
You bet. Chicagoland Speedway, 1.5-mile track, 18 degrees banking in the turns, guys. The front stretch is about 11 degrees, back stretch just 5 degrees. That just allows for a little bit of drainage. But I'll tell you what, looking for an outstanding race here tonight. We are in the trucks tonight at Chicagoland, so should be an exciting race.
Absolutely, and fuel strategy, someone may ask. Well, we're looking about halfway. These guys are going to come down, if it were to stay green, come down about lap 45. These guys can stretch it to about 55 laps on fuel, but we're hearing most of the drivers are going to try to cut this race in half and pit around 45. And the tire's going to fall off quick here tonight. And we'll get more on that and who won the pole, who's second, who's third. We'll get to that after the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, and again, you're watching live coverage of the Real Sim Racing Outlaw Truck Series live at Chicagoland on ETV. Race number 3 out of a 10-race season, and the grid has been set, JD, and Scott Granberg has claimed his second pole out of 3 races. He'll start on the number 1 starting spot. The 14th truck, Bobby Terrell, last week's winner at Homestead, or a couple of weeks ago winner at Homestead, in second position.
And Joe Reuter in that number 20 machine, he'd be on the inside second row. On the outside of him, the 46 truck, Randy Wells will be starting 4th.
Lawrence Phillips going to start 15th tonight. David Lanza in the 33 Chevrolet going to start 6th.
And Nicholas Silver, he'll be starting in 7th position, that number 30 machine on the inside. On the outside of him, C.J. LeVere in the number 4 truck in 8th position.
And Eric Arnold is going to start 9th tonight. Some may call him the Navy Nuke. Let's see if he can get out there and show the Navy what they're made of. Brian Lovingood starting 10th tonight in that 51 truck.
And Steve Ritter, he'll be starting in 11th position on the inside, the number 16 truck. And Chris Schallenberger, the number 11, starting in 12th tonight.
Sean Casto going to start 13th tonight. 71 truck, 14th position, belongs to Larry King.
Jay Horton in number 83 on the inside in 15th. Number 16 in the 8 truck, Kyle Taraska.
Ben Burnett going to start 17th tonight in that free machine. Luis Rodriguez on the outside of him in 37 and 18th.
Eric Malik in the number 9 machine. He'll be starting in 19th position on the inside. On the outside of him, John Abbott in the number 10 truck.
Adam Roberts going to start 21st tonight in the 88 machine. Doug Roth in the 43 truck going to roll off 22nd.
Douglas Wyatt in the number 12 on the inside in 23rd. On the outside of him in 24th, the number 2, Rhett McBride.
Jose Gonzalez, the last truck on the grid to take time, going to start 25th, and a couple of provisionals here, JD. Chad Cole, Jimmy North, and Nathan Little. Aaron Grosskopf, Stephen Herring, and bringing up the tail end of the field, the 31 position, the 21 truck of R.J. Williams.
And it looks like we've got 90 laps on the board here tonight as the pace car brings them down the backstretch, heading up into turn 4 down here. And I'll tell you what, that 90 laps in these trucks, multiple racing groups here at Chicagoland Speedway. Look for these guys to run the top and the bottom here, especially coming off 3 and 4 here down the front stretch. Now remember, one thing about this track, you can take it all the way to the grass, but hey, Michael, do not put 2 tires over that line. You get on that grass down there, and that's just like an ice skating rink.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I talked to Granberg about how two-wide racing could work at Chicagoland, and he mentioned watch for people pinching. And we may see that here in turn 1 as Bobby Terrell going to start on the outside as Granberg as the pace car comes down pit road. The 5 truck of Granberg going to pick up the green here, completing lap number 1 at Chicagoland Speedway. We're green flag racing.
And Reuter and Granberg get an early jump on the rest of the field, guys. And I'll tell you what, Bobby Terrell had to have been sound asleep at the wheel there on that start, but stuck up on the outside coming off of turn 2. They'll get almost side by side here with David, or I think that's Lawrence Phillips down here, almost making contact door handle. But I tell you what, they're getting bunched up here in front early going. And
keep in mind, Joe Reuter in that number 20 truck is teammates, or is working with the Joe Reuter and Eric Malik crew here. So 1 and 2 right now, I believe, are teammates. They're out there in front running 1 and 2, looking pretty good, as we've seen in the past here a couple of weeks.
You know, talking to you earlier, I know you spent time down in the garage. We were talking about tire wear here at Chicago. Chicagoland Speedway has been somewhat notorious for tire wear. Of course, aren't they all? But particularly this track here, talking, some of the drivers saying that, 5 or 10 hot laps around here in the early goings could put a serious detriment in your tire wear here at Chicagoland Speedway for these guys. So I'm looking for these guys to kind of take it easy here, at least up until around lap 45-50, when we do expect green flag pit stops, if we're that lucky.
You're absolutely right, JD. And looking back here in 7th and 8th position, this is where tire wear can become crucial. You see Brian Lovingood out there in the 51. He's on the outside. He's been struggling to stay up there. I think now he's finally going to give up the room for David Lenza to make that successful pass there. He'll take over the 7th position. But Brian was stuck on the outside, JD. In the first 5-10 laps, you can run these trucks basically, until the tires fall off to about 31 second lap times, but after that we'll start to see 32s, and like you said, the tires will wear off quicker if you're on that outside.
Yeah, and behind Lovingood up there in 8th, Eric Arnold sitting in 9th position back here in that 47 machine, just watching him for a couple of laps here. Back end getting a little bit squirrely coming off the turns here. But keep an eye on that number 47 machine. I know he had some difficulties last Monday night at, now I can't even remember the name of the track we were at. See how quickly it was in the Icebreaker series. But at any rate, he had a difficult time with his car handling at that point as well. So same crew chief working on the truck here tonight, that 47 machine, still getting wicked loose coming off the turns.
Yeah, and let's keep an eye on this battle because Eric Arnold is trying to work underneath the Brian Lovingood in the 51 truck. We saw Brian up on that high side with David Lanza just a couple of laps ago. Oh, is Eric Arnold maybe losing it? Coming out of 2, JD, he does. He spins it down in the grass. He's actually going to save it, but he's off racing surface now.
He's Eric Arnold in that 47 machine down there on the bottom, saves it going through the grass there. I don't believe the caution has come out. He's still on the track, able to get it back up across the line and on the racing surface, but that's going to put him severely behind the rest of the pack here. But Eric Arnold, just as I was talking, having some early problems with the handling at that number 47 machine.
And he did a fine job keeping that truck from spinning completely out. He about turned it around, and everybody did a good job of checking up, giving him a little bit of room to kind of get that truck back under control. But Eric Arnold doing a fabulous job keeping it off the wall. And, you know, JD, 5 laps from now, we may see a caution flag. Eric Arnold get back on pit road, get some new tires, and he can be back up in there in the mix of things.
You bet. And I had my apologies. I had to go and look the darn thing up, but it was actually Rockingham Speedway on Monday night, and I should have remembered that. That's one of my favorite tracks, stemming from the old Winston Cup days. But let's go up here to 19th position. Nathan Little. He's got a gaggle of cars up in front of him. Trucks, Cowboy. These are trucks. Kyle Taraska in that 08 machine sitting up here in 18th position in front of him. Chad Cole in that number 7 machine of his, mighty tasty on the back of that Silverado. And then in the 9 machine, Eric Malik up here running in 15th. 3 wide down the backstretch here with, I believe that's Jay Horton in the middle. And Chad Cole and Eric Malik are going to put the 83 machine back one notch.
Yeah, a little bit of 3 wide action there in turn 3, going into turn 3 at Chicagoland, JD. Early on, 10 laps complete here. Jay Horton doing a fabulous job, though. He was a man in the middle, and sometimes that's not an easy thing to keep control of. You got somebody on the outside, somebody on the inside doing about 180 miles an hour, and we see Jay Horton going a little bit backwards here now.
You know, unlike most of the other D-shaped ovals on the racing circuit here, Chicagoland Speedway is kind of a monster all by itself. There is no real straight part of this track. When you come off of turn 2, you're actually still turning the wheel, Michael, because if you notice going down the backstretch back here, there is a little bit of a curve to it. So you bring it down to turn 3 and 4, crank it around the turn there, and of course you got to dive it down in, get it close down to that bottom line, coming across the start-finish line there, and you're constantly taking some left-hand pressure on that steering wheel all the way around this track.
Yeah, you really are. You're actually turning the wheel, like you said, pretty much the whole entire time. And that does put a little bit of strain on these drivers. Most of these guys running force feedback wheels and from the comfort of their home, and you know it'll wear you out. And we saw just a moment ago, JD, Scott Granberg giving up the lead to Joe Reuter, letting Joe, the Show20.com Chevrolet of the truck up there in front, taking a couple of laps in the lead. And speaking of a lead, he's actually opened it up quite a bit on teammate back there, Scott Granberg.
You bet, and we'll see how long that lasts. 13 laps in the books here at Chicagoland Speedway, but I tell you, when I was watching these guys during practice times, Scott Granberg, Chad Cole was another one. Chad Cole getting kind of a late start here tonight during practice, but was able to put some pretty good numbers on the practice board. Joe Reuter, I don't think he's anybody but to mess around with here at Chicagoland Speedway. He's got some pretty good, turned some pretty good lap times here during that practice session. Another one that we haven't seen or heard from, this may be his first race, in fact. Of course, this is my first truck race with these guys, but Chris Schollenberger back here in 4th position. He's driving that number 11 machine here tonight. So Chris Schollenberger was also another one that during practice session was, actually he's in 12th position, my bad. I was looking at the practice session, but he was another one that was laying down some pretty good times during practice. Yeah,
Chris Schollenberger getting his first start here tonight. Chad Cole, also one of the guys getting his first start tonight. He's back there in 12th. He's one of the guys that started in the back, though, JD. 26th position. He's all the way up to 12th. And he's got his work cut out for him to gain on Sean Casto, who's sitting there in 11th, about half of a straightaway ahead of him.
You bet. And tell you what, let's take a... Oh, caution's coming out.
Looks like Jay Horton, JD, in the 19th position. The 83 truck, he may have taken an E-ticket right on the backstretch, and he did. He's turned that Redskins red and yellow Chevrolet upside down a couple of times. And the 3 machine also involved in the wreck. That's Ben Burnett out of Carolina involved in that one as well, JD.
Yeah, it almost looks like Ben Burnett might have started that whole thing. Got kind of wicked loose coming up at turn 2, tags a wall. And then, of course, Horton, he's watching that happen in front of him, and he's got to take some kind of evasive action, and just gets tangled up in the number 3's issues, and like you say, Mike, takes an E-ticket right down the backstretch on the pavement, Cowboy. I'll tell you what, that truck is just banged up.
Kind of like RG3 is right now, the 83, Jay Horton. Going to pull a Robert the Griffin III and twist a knee here. As you see the 3 truck there, ever so slightly, maybe making a little bit of contact, but just enough, JD, to turn that truck into the outside fence there, and he'll go end over end a couple of times, and we could expect him to come down pit road.
Absolutely, and the one thing the 83 had to contend with too during all that was the 26 machine of Jose Gonzalez. There was just no place for the 83 to go, and unfortunately got tangled up in that mess. But the first caution of the night here at Chicagoland Speedway, I imagine this will bring everybody down.
Absolutely, we're 16 laps into this race, and everyone is down pit road. They've made their stops, 4 tires for most of everybody. Scott Greenberg going to beat Joe the Show Rooter off pit road, going to pick back up the lead. And JD, looks like most of these guys taking 4 tires and probably getting a full tank of gas.
Hey, that would be my call. Of course, I'm old school. Anytime I got a chance to come down pit road, it's going to be 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats, and hope for the best when we get back out there. But hey, how about a couple of well, go ahead. I think we've got somebody on the radio.
Yeah, Aaron Grosskopf joining us. Aaron, this is Mike up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Aaron, this is Mike up in the booth. You got a copy? It seems like the race communication down right now with Aaron Grosskopf, but he was going to tell us a little bit about how the race was going so far. JD, at Chicagoland, the first 16 laps we've ran under green flag conditions, and now we're sitting here at the first yellow of the race.
There you go. And tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away? Let's take a real quick commercial break, and when we come back, more racing here from Chicagoland Speedway. So don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over Dwayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, when we got 1 car on the bottom of the 10 cars.
And welcome back. Again, you're watching live coverage of Thursday night Outlaw Truck Series with the Real Sim Racing League. Race number 3 at Chicagoland, where we're under the first caution of tonight's event. 16 laps into the books. The number 3 car, Ben Burnett and Jay Horton, tangling up a little bit. The 83 looks to appear to be out of this race. JD took a couple of end-over-end turns, and we're getting ready to go back green here as the pace car enters turn 3.
You bet. And Scott Granberg up there on the top there with Joe Reuter in behind, Bobby Terrell, and Randy Wells, and Lawrence Phillips, your top 5 on the restart here. And I'll tell you some exciting stuff coming in 2013 as the Real Sim Racing League puts together not 1 but 2 series as we get ready to go back to racing here at Chicagoland Speedway. I'll tell you about that in just a minute.
And for the second time tonight, Scott Granberg going to pick up the green flag. Leading lap 20 there. Joe Reuter teammate going to fall in behind. Bobby Terrell last week's, or a couple of weeks ago, I keep saying last week, JD, we've had a huge holiday break. And but Bobby Terrell winning the last race here at Homestead in the Thursday night Outlaw Truck Series. He's sitting there in 3rd.
But I think that was back on December 20th, if I'm not mistaken. But let's take it back to 7th position back here. Kind of a gaggle truck back here. The 4 machine of C.J. Lavera on the bottom, the 30 up on the outside, the 46 diving down in front of the 4. So these guys are all duking it out, trying to get that position, get it early here so they can get settled in and get some laps on the tires here. Remember, we were talking about it earlier, 5 to 10 laps, hot lap around this place, and then you really got to have it settled down. But pass the lead up here in the front, and Joe Reuter takes it from Scott Granberg here, guys. So, but this game ain't over yet as we put 21 laps in the books here, Michael. I don't think Joe Reuter's going to give it up quite that, or Scott Granberg's going to give it up quite that easy.
And, of course, you got to remember these 2 guys are teammates, so they're giving each other plenty of room. But now we see the 14 truck underneath Bobby Terrell. That's Homestead's winner. He's underneath the 5, Scott Granberg. That might mix things up here a little bit as the 2 teammates so far in the race have been 1 and 2 all night long. Bobby Terrell trying to shake it up down the backstretch, and so is Lawrence Phillips, JD, as he goes underneath 14.
Oh, man, that almost looked like a 3-wide situation going into turn 3 here, guys, coming off. Oh, just barely clears. I tell you what, Lawrence Phillips is absolutely on a tear here, trying to put that number 15 machine up to the front, score him to 3rd position now as he puts Bobby Terrell back 1 notch. I'll tell you what, with only 23 laps in the book, you'd think this was the last 20 laps.
He's using up a little bit of a right front tire there as he tried to work his way under Bobby Terrell, but Bobby, nonetheless, tried the little pinch move there, couldn't quite keep him out of the way as Bobby Terrell did give up the spot. And he will fall back to 4th. And now David Lanza, who's sitting here in 5th, just behind him in the Gatorade Series Chevrolet. He's all over the Honda Racing Chevrolet of him, Bobby Terrell.
You bet. And I tell you what, cycling through the cars pretty much single file all the way back to the back now as these guys just kind of fall into line here. But, you know, you get 3 or 4 laps on your tires after the restart. You really got to settle it down here a little bit and make them last, especially here at Chicagoland Speedway. Let's talk for a minute about Real Sim Racing League here, guys. Not 1 but 2 series in 2013 starting in February. The Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series returns on Monday nights at 9:30 live on ETV Live, and again sponsored by Bob Earl Racing. Bob Earl Racing virtual racing cockpits. And then on, I believe it's Thursday nights, if I'm not mistaken, is the Asphalt Assault Series. That's going to be sponsored by Inside Sim Racing, inking the deal with Darren Ganji and his boys over there. So we're looking for some exciting racing coming from Real Sim Racing. Now, if you missed last season here with the Full Throttle Cup Series, hang on to your hats, Cowboy. Some of the best racing you've ever seen, Mike.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, JD. And now caution being shown on the racetrack. I believe Adam Roberts in the 88 truck in 19th position, going to get a little bit of a rub to Larry King there in 17th, and that's going to bring this caution back out on the Speedway. But you're absolutely right, JD. Real Sim Racing got a full lineup. And, of course, you know, this is Real Sim Racing here in the Truck Outlaw Series. We got the Monday night going on right now. Every Monday night, the Icebreaker Series. Nothing but good stuff coming out of the Real Sim Racing.
Yeah, you bet. And I'm kind of cycling around here looking for this caution, the 88 machine here. looks like he just clips the 71 here just a little bit, then goes for one of those e-ticket rides coming off of turn 4, and then goes up into the outside wall and does a, what is that, a triple axle, I think they call it, right
Yeah,
there off of turn 4?
Yeah, triple axle toe touch, and also too, you saw there mid-screen before the 88 there just hit the wall with the 51 of Brian Lovingood, getting a little bit of piece of the action too. But nonetheless, Adam Roberts going to be coming down pit road here as well as everyone else. Let's see if Scott Granberg can keep the lead here. Looks like Joe Reuter may have won the race off pit road, but not electing to pit so far, JD. Eric Malik, the 9 truck, still out on the track, so it'll be interesting to see if he comes by this time. He did get a bonus point, I believe, for leading the lap there, but being shown in first is Eric Malik in the Logitech Chevrolet there that you see out front.
You've got Eric Malik coming to Chicagoland here tonight, and looking to put together a good strategy for the race here. 27 laps in the books here at Chicagoland, so we've still got a bunch of them to go. 90 laps on the board. That's actually quite a few laps here at Chicagoland Speedway. Mile-and-a-half track. It's a rather unique track, and we kind of told you about that earlier. Want to mention, actually want to say howdy to David M. And Pat Healy. JR Jr., I guess that is, over there in the chat room. Glad you guys could join us here tonight on ETV Live. Always like to mix it up with everybody in the chat room. We are the only fan interactive sim broadcasting broadcaster out there, so we do enjoy yakking with the guys over there in the chat room and really mixing it up. But hey, Mike, how about getting a couple of plugs out of the way? Yeah, how about Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing series? Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online racing motorsports. You can join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing, Inside Sim Racing has it all. You can check them out at isrtv.com. And if you haven't seen one of those episodes, you got to check that out. Very professionally well done. It's better than anything you'd ever see on network TV.
Oh yeah, JD, no doubt. This is one of the. These guys are one of the leading information sites out there for iRacing World and other things. Tons of information on their website, and we mentioned the Real Sim Racing Monday Night Series is going to be kicked off in 2013 with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. I tell you what, a group of guys that know how to race. You need to check these guys out when they start a huge 36-week series coming up shortly in February, and the proud sponsor of the 2013 series this year for the second year in a row, Bob Earl Racing. And this guy knows exactly how to design a cockpit. This guy's a championship race car driver, Bob Earl. Who better than a race car driver to design a simulation race cockpit than him? He knows exactly what it's like, JD, to be behind the racing seat, and he wants you to be the exact same way at the comfort of your home. The design of this cockpit features a fully adjustable seat and frame that comes with an additional monitor stand and shifter that can be bought separately. You can buy one today at BobEarlRacing.com, $349 plus shipping. And I know a lot of these guys put that thing on their Christmas list, and it's not too late to put it on your birthday list or just buy one. Tell your wife that you want one and get you one at BobEarlRacing.com.
There you go. You bet. And I'll tell you what, I've had the luxury of being able to talk to Bob and ask him about these racing seats. And I'll tell you, there's nobody better than to design these virtual racing cockpits for simulation racing than a real race car driver. And we've seen a bunch of them out there before, but if I was to have one built, he'd be the person I'd want to go to have a custom racing cockpit built. But tell you what, getting ready to go back to green here. Eric Malik staying out on that last caution. Now we've got about 5 or 6 laps in on that. He'll pick up the green flag with Eric Arnold, Jose Gonzalez, Jimmy North. There's a 9 machine of Eric Malik just rails by Eric Arnold up here.
And he will get a slingshot lead. There's Eric Malik being shown the race leader, Eric Arnold. A couple of these guys, Jose Gonzalez, Jimmy North, Sean Casto, some of these guys elected not to come down pit road or taking right sides only, JD, and we see the mix-up is now the 17 starting to go backwards. 47, excuse me.
47 machine up into the wall, guys. Had to jump off the throttle. That kind of stacked everything up back here. The 84 Jimmy North had to get on the binders, and that's going to let the 5 go by. And I believe the 67, that is, of Sean Casto, managed to squeak by too. So a little bit of difficulty back here for the 84 machine.
And there you see up top screen there the 5 truck of Scott Grenberg trying to get by the Navy Nuke of Eric Arnold up there in 5th position. He's in the 47 truck up past. Scott Grenberg going to take a nosedive into 3 and 4. Going to see if it sticks. Not going to stick, JD, coming out at 4.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, still watching Jimmy North back here. He's dropped back to 8th position now after tangling with that wall a lap ago. Got the 4 on the bottom, crossing the start-finish line here, going into turn 1. So as Jimmy North tries to put the hammer down, he's getting wicked loose coming off of turn 2 into the wall for the second time. The 84 car or truck of Jimmy North in big trouble, Mike.
And then we just saw CJ Rivera go across the screen. That was the truck that we just saw live go across the screen and almost collect the field. He misses everyone, and he is. He's going to avoid pit road here, but he went from 8th to 20th in a matter of about 5 seconds, JD.
There you go. I'll tell you what, they are absolutely stacking up in front of Jimmy North up here, guys. Taking up to Nathan Little, 14th position up here in a number 97 machine. He's got the speed machine of the 30, Nicholas Silver, dead ahead. And these guys are just looking all over the place, 2 wide, 3 wide, and just looking for a hole to climb through here as we put about 4 laps, I believe this is the 4th time around off that restart. So, you talk about hot lapping it. Positions got to get them early, and then they seem to settle in. So that's what this hot lapping stuff is all about after his restarts.
Yeah, 16 car truck. We're hearing Steve Ritter was also involved in that wreck that you saw CJ Rivera go across the screen and almost collect the entire field. But one bad lucky recipient of that was Steve Ritter, who has pulled that truck behind the garage, JD. He's done for the night.
On the holler and headed for the barn, as we used to say on ETV Live here. But I tell you, these guys are letting it all hang out here early in the game here. 35 laps in the books. We're not even at the halfway point yet, and they're already turning these ponies loose. But things seem to be settling down up here in front. Eric Arnold in the 5th position, going past. Oh, he finds a hole under the 26. Now he's going after it. Eric Arnold going to move up 1 notch here, move him up to 4th in that 47 machine. But dead ahead is Sean Casto, who snuck by here about 2 or 3 laps ago, but still holding down the fort. Joe Reuter with Eric Malik in tow.
Yeah, Jose Gonzalez keeping that Chevrolet up there on the high side, making it work, JD. The 47 Eric Arnold going to give up the spot to Granberg as well as they go into turn 3. So Jose Gonzalez making the truck stick on the outside there.
He takes a piece of the wall, or Scott Granberg takes a piece of the wall coming off the wall there, coming off turn 4. But, Chicagoland Speedway has been pretty notorious for having a couple of different racing grooves here. I haven't seen them being used here yet. Usually that outside groove coming off 3 and 4, usually the fastest way around here at Chicagoland Speedway, at least it used to be in the Cup car. But I haven't seen these trucks that make use of the top or the bottom yet, hardly at all. So, unless they get stuck up there.
Yeah, now JD, it's still early. I guarantee you we're going to see some 2 wide racing here. These guys are going to be pushing that right front into the concrete here at Chicagoland in the closing laps. But right now in 2nd position, we got a little bit of banging going on with Eric Malik in the 67 truck of Sean Casto, who's trying to take over the 2nd spot on screen.
Bet, and I'll tell you what, coming all the way back here to 13th position, the 11 truck of Chris Schallenberger going backwards here, guys. Schallenberger was putting down some pretty good practice times, was up in the top 5, but having some kind of difficulty as he starts going backwards here again. But I tell you, up in front of him, they're just taking up to 10th position from 10th. Bobby Terrell on forward I tell you, these guys, they came to this race here tonight ready to duke it out, and that's exactly what they're doing. Chad Cole in 8th position up here. He's got the 33 in the 47 machine. Oh, they made contact. The 47 to 33, 47 down on the apron. He manages to hang on to it. Eric Arnold and the 33 machine duking it out. So I'll tell you what, Cowboy, maybe we need to get John to ring that bell, that ding ding. This is round 2 or something.
I'm gonna say
wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong show.
You know, JD, I think what we might be seeing here, if you remember, Eric Arnold was one of those guys who elected not to come down pit road or take right sides only, and now we're starting to see the rest of the field who did pit and take 4 tires start to work their way back up towards the front. David Lanza, Lawrence Phillips, some of those guys who's got 4 fresh tires as they rail on past Eric Arnold, who's down on the bottom in 8th.
Yeah, now they're making that side work like I was talking about before, but I think that's only because, like you say, Eric Arnold with right side tires only on that 47 machine. So number 7 machine of Chad Cole working the top side coming up turn 4. He'll get past the 47 machine. And for the first time tonight, I'm seeing the 67, Sean Castro, way up here in 2nd position, make use of that apron down there crossing the start-finish line as he almost gets sideways coming off of turn 2. But that is open territory all the way down to the grass down there, coming down that front stretch, Mike.
So where's your favorite driver at? Well, Joe Reuter's leading the race, Sean Casto 2nd, Eric Malik 3rd, Scott Granberg 4th, Jose Gonzalez holding on to a solid 5th right now. David Lanza, who's been working his way up through the field after the green flag pit stops, is 6th. Lawrence Phillips in the 15th truck going to work 7th position. Chad Cole going all the way from 27th at the start of this race up to 8th. Bobby Terrell, Homestead's winner just a couple of weeks ago, up in 9th, and Eric Arnold 10th, and you'll see the rest on the screen there as we're rolling through here. But 3 so far, JD, out of the race. Steve Ritter, Jay Horton, and Aaron Grosskopf, all 3 out of the race, declaring early that their night was done here at Chicagoland.
On the hauler and headed for the barn, as we say here on ETV Live. And I'll tell you what, ETV Live is your first best choice. Why don't we give ourselves a plug here? ETV Live, the only choice in simulation auto racing broadcasting. Since 2008, ETV Live has produced over 600 shows for almost 200,000 viewers. ETV Live has pioneered and engineered some of the best innovations in online autosport broadcasting. The industry experts, Cowboy, ETV Live, it's the only choice. You can visit us anytime, etv-eplay.net. How's that for a plug?
Absolutely, and if you're one of those Facebook people out there, we've also got a Facebook. You can check us out, facebook.com/ETV-live, and always updating the Facebook page with every race that we do. We do all kinds of broadcasts too. This is not the only broadcast that we do. We have tons of broadcasts. You can check out all the broadcasts and past broadcasts that we've done on the ETV page, Facebook.
We got one of them Twitter. You can tweet the Twitter Twitter, something or other. some kind of Twitter page we got to. I don't particularly take care of the Facebook or the Twitter thing, but we got both of those. We get a pass for the lead up in front.
Well, we got a battle for the lead. Sean Casto starting to make the presence known to Joe the Show Reuter up there in first position. Now look at Casto, JD. He's down at the bottom of the apron there. That's what I've been expecting. Look at him wheel the car down there at the bottom of the apron. Sean Casto, I knew it was going to. That's the fastest way around this racetrack is to use that apron there in the front stretch, and we just seen for the first time tonight the 67 truck use that to his advantage, and he's trying to run Reuter down, and he's in 3 and 4. He's going to have a little bit of momentum. Here he comes, JD.
Oh, tags a wall.
Lost that momentum then.
Yeah, he did. 67 machine just tags a wall coming off turn 2 there, or turn 4. But I tell you, he's pulling right up to the bumper. Now here's the deal, Cowboy. Even though this is a 1.5 mile track, the draft means everything here. So using that draft, staying right on the bumper of Joe Reuter up there in the front as he's looking on the inside coming into turn 3. Doesn't quite have it, can't get it there, but as he stays hooked up to him, It won't be long now.
He's going to try to sneak. He tried to sneak a peek there in turn 3 and 4 there, but couldn't quite get it, JD. Sean Casto is there, though. He's in second position, about a car length behind Reuter, and he's also bringing a couple of friends with him, and that's Scott Granberg in third, Eric Malik's in fourth back there. They're all kind of nose to tail here. No separation for the front pack, JD.
And David Lanza in that 33 machine, he makes up your top 5 up here in the back row, and then Jose Gonzalez in that 26 car. He's about 2 car lengths off, 2 truck lengths off the leaders up there. But I'll tell you what, he's just kind of watching all that play out up there in the front as Sean Casto goes to the bottom. He's going to put the 20 to the top here, coming into turn 1. It's side by side coming through turn 2. The 20 up on the top. Castro's got him on the bottom.
The Carolina native's got him. The 67 truck's underneath 20. Reuter's got the runoff too. He's going to maintain the lead going into 3 here. But Sean Casto going to dig deep in 3 and see what she's got.
And a 20 machine up there on the top. Reuter, if you keep your foot in the throttle here, you might get lucky and make it as they stay side by side here down the front stretch. Casto's going to take it right down to the apron line down there, stay neck and neck on into turn 1. Now this is the racing that we've been waiting all night to see, Cowboy. And then up on the outside, right behind Reuter, here comes the 5 machine of Scott Granberg working his way past the 67 on the outside as Reuter retains the lead going into turn 3.
That's the Beaver Buzz, and the Reuter show up there in the lead is teammates with the 5 there of Scott Granberg. Casto's going to lose second. Granberg move him up to second now, as now he tries to set his sights on the leader, Joe Reuter, going into turn 1.
On the downhill side of things here, Chicagoland Speedway, the 33 machine and the 9 machine duking it out. That's 5th position back here. David Lanza looking to stay up here in the top 5. Jose Gonzalez, he's coming along for the ride in that 26 machine. He's just watching all that stuff happen out in front of him, saying, okay, one of you going to make a mistake, that'll give me the opportunity. But in the meantime, Eric Malik, he just went backwards. He's back here in 4th position. Oh! As he tags the wall of that 9 machine, I'll tell you what. Yeah, they are getting tight, and I tell you, after you get a few laps on your tires here, it does tighten up here a little bit. Chad Cole in that 7 machine back here in 7th, he's going to give Malik a run for his money down the backstretch.
And remember, JD, the 9 truck that you see, the blue truck right there, the 9-car truck of Eric Malik, he was one of those guys who did not pit. And I think we're starting to see the right front wear off as Chad Cole goes underneath. Now Bobby Terrell, Homestead's winner now. He tries to go underneath in the red truck there. He's working now underneath the bottom in turn 1.
Bobby Terrell going to get the number 9 machine coming off turn 2 here. He's going to put just squeaking past up here. Woo, that was close. Terrell staying on the bottom here with the 9 up on the top side, but out in front. Castro has all but given up here in that 3 machine, sitting here in the 67, sitting in 3rd position. But I tell you what, Joe Reuter, certainly the class of the field here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway, really putting them down up here in the front.
And then just ahead of the leader there, Joe Reuter is John Abbott. John Abbott is the last truck on the lead lap. He's sitting back in 26th position, 28 seconds back from the leader. But closer is the leader to him than lapping him. So if John Abbott does not get a lucky caution here in the next couple of laps, he will go down a lap, JD.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of unusual to see John Abbott this far in the back. I'm wondering if he had some kind of difficulty with his truck here tonight. Don't typically see John Abbott, this far back at this stage in the game.
And then the display, the graphic there brought to you by JDR Graphics that you just saw there, points gain, -6. Right now where it stands, John Abbott's looking at losing about 6 positions in points if that were to stand true that he finishes 26 here tonight at Chicagoland. So hopefully he'll catch the break. John Abbott not really catching the breaks in the Monday night series, but maybe here in the Outlaw Truck Series he can catch one as Joe Reuter, or the 9 car, and the 46 truck there working on your screen side by side.
Couple of battles happening back here too. 15th position, Chris Sollenbarger. He's got a pair up here in front. It's going to be Kyle Taraska in that 08 machine, and the 30 of Nicholas Silver. And this is for position back here as well. So 15th through 13th back here battling it out as well. And I tell you, that 30 machine making that truck look awfully wide. That's Nicholas Silver up here as the 11 of Chris Schallenberger comes alongside to try to get that position. And then about 8 or 9 truck lengths in front of them, the 97 Nathan Little, 12th position. He's looking at the bumper of Eric Arnold, who has had his difficulties here at Chicagoland here tonight, and as well as Rockingham on Monday night, looking to put something together here in the truck race. But I'll tell you what, he's got to get past Lawrence Phillips up here at 9th, Eric Malik up here, Randy Wells. I mean, there's a gaggle of them up here in front of him.
Yeah, there really is. A lot too wide racing right now on the racetrack at Chicagoland as we're starting to work lap number 60 here as Joe Reuter goes by John Abbott. John Abbott now being shown a lap down, no problem there. The hand out the window as Abbott gives way to the leaders. Granberg, there he goes by. David Lanza now setting his sights on the 10 machine of John Abbott. So lap starting to close down here, about 31 to go, JD.
You know, when back here, 7th position, the 67 machine of Sean Casto slipping all the way back here. Still hanging on to a top 10 here, but kind of gave that fight up there in the front up. I think he probably just burned them off here, just laying down too many hot laps, trying to duke it out up there with Joe Reuter. But Joe able to hang on to that lead up there. Now has Scott Granberg, David Lanza to contend with up there in the front. But I'll tell you what, green flag racing so far, 61 in the books here at Chicagoland Speedway. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live Cowboy, the only choice in town, so don't wander off. We'll be right back.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR high-ranking. InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Real Sim Racing Outlaw Truck Series, where Joe the Show is putting on one heck of a show, JD, at Chicagoland Speedway. Race number 3 out of 10. Of course, the grand finale at Las Vegas going to take place in February 14th, Valentine's Day. One winner will be crowned championship in the Outlaw Truck Series.
You bet. And I tell you, Mike, it's been about 40-plus laps since that last caution back on lap 26. So if things hold true, pit window being between 45 and 50 laps, we know that these guys have at least one more to go here before the end of the race. So looking at possible green flag pit stops coming our way here, anywhere from, let's call it 8 to 10 laps here at Chicagoland.
And I've just seen Larry King in the 71 truck come down pit road, actually pulling it behind the garage. I thought maybe we're just now seeing the first set of green flag pit stops, but Larry King taking it behind the garage. Must have been an electrical problem there with him. His night's done. Going to fall all the way back to 25th now as laps continue to wind down here at Chicagoland. Looks like Joe Reuter, JD, Joe Reuter, the leader, may be coming down pit road this time by. The hand was out the window. Indeed, the 20 truck down pit road.
All right, green flag pit stops coming our way as our leader, Joe Reuter. He puts the hammer down, coming down pit road. Get on them binders, Cowboy. Wool that pony up. He's got a long ways to go down to his pit box down there. And I'm sure it'll be 4 new tires and a bucket of oats for him. But I'll tell you what, a driver that I've been watching here while we were under commercial is the number 46 machine of Randy Wells, who is now being shown in second position. But don't let that scare you off, Cowboy. Green flag pit stops underway here at Chicagoland. But Randy Wells pretty much spent a lot of time in the back, the middle, just kind of hanging out here a little bit. He'd let her cut loose here about the last 15 or so laps, 20 laps or so. So Randy Wells, who started up in the front, started 4th here tonight, Michael, is on his way back to the front as we have green flag pit stops.
Yeah, green flag pit stops underway, and Joe Reuter being one of the first guys down pit road to take action and notice of that, being shown back in 19th position, and got a lot of work cut out for him, but everybody else will have to do the exact same thing. Nobody can stretch fuel this far. Like you mentioned, we're about 45 now, probably working about 50 laps since they've pitted, and we're on lap 73 now.
84 machine of Jimmy North on pit road. Right side goes up. It'll be 4 new tires for him, and fill it up with Sunoco fuel. And looks like Larry King got his pit stop out of the way in the 71 machine. He's coming out on the back stretch back here, get back up to speed, back out on the track. So as we cycle through these pit stops, Randy Wells in a 46 machine picks up a couple of bonuses, but caution is out.
And guys, it might have been the 11th position truck of Lawrence Phillips, who looked like he might have gotten a little bit of squirreliness coming out of turn 4 there, as Jose Gonzalez was trying to make the pass on the outside, and he did. Lawrence Phillips just, almost like a little bit of an input failure there on the steering wheel of that machine.
Yeah, and you know, the dangerous thing about getting across that apron line down there on the front stretch, you got to get all 4 sets of tires across that line. You can't keep 2 up on there in the racing group, because you're talking about 2 different racing surfaces up there. So he has it under control, but then he tangles with that line down there. He's got 2 tires across the white line, and that's what upset his truck, and around he goes right there on the front stretch, bringing out the caution flag.
And that's going to really really hurt Douglas White, Jose Gonzalez there, Joe Reuter. A lot of these guys trapped a lap down. Chris Schallenberger, Eric Arnold, Jimmy North, you mentioned him pitting earlier, CJ Lavere, Lovingood, Granberg now being shown a lap down too. So JD, man, I tell you, these guys will stay out and get waved around the pace car, but they're not going to be able to pick back up the positions where they pitted in, where Joe Ritter was leading. He's probably going to be somewhere along the lines of 17th, 16th position when we go back green.
And I'll tell you what, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, because when we come back to racing after the caution, we're only going to have, what, maybe 13 laps. So, you know, can you get it done in 10 laps or so? I don't know, Cowboy. It's a long ways around this track, you know, and I don't know. You know, guys like Joe Reuter, who spent most of his time up in the front, man, being a lap down, don't know if he's going to have a chance to get it back.
And do you remember, JD, when we said John Abbott was going down a lap and being trapped around somewhere along the lines of the 26th position? Well, guess what? He's worked his way up to 18th. He's one lap down. He's going to get the wave around and get back on the lead lap. And so John Abbott, maybe a little bit of luck starting to go his way here.
Yeah, you got that right. And I tell you what, Randy Wells completing his pit stop, he had the lead up there, was able to get the bonus points, but is going to wind up restarting back in the back of the field here. So, you know, can he get that 46 machine back up to the front again? Who knows? But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, he spent most of the night in about the middle of the pack, and it was the last probably 15 laps or so. He was able to bring that thing all the way up to the top 5 before that caution. So can Randy Wells do it again? I don't know. Time will tell.
And on the screen there you see pitting now, John Abbott. Someone's wondering, you know, why is he pitting? And that's right, I was told in my ear that he did not pit under the green flag there. He had to come down pit road. He could have gotten the wave around the pace car, JD, but there's no time to pit after that. He would have been trapped on pit road as the green flag would have waved, and that would have just hurt him even more. So he came down, he's got his tire.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, you know, we're showing Bobby Terrell
Now he's got his fuel.
Or I don't know, something happened. I think somebody tripped over Michael's microphone cord, but he's back now. But you know, we're showing Bobby Terrell as our leader. However, as you're looking at the screen, all those trucks out in front of them, they're actually at the tail end of the lead lap, starting with Jose Gonzalez in that 26 machine behind the pace car. So they'll all go past pace car. They'll line up in the back of the pack. That'll put Bobby Terrell up against the bumper of the pace car, Michael, when they come back around again here. So Bobby Terrell is your leader with Nathan Little, Eric Malik, Chad Cole, Randy Wells. Randy Wells will actually restart 5th, so my bad when I said that he's going to be back in the back of the pack. So he's sitting in a pretty good seat right here on the restart.
And what about Bobby Terrell there, JD, winning a couple of weeks ago back in December, race number 2 at Homestead Miami Speedway, picking up second tonight here in the qualifying grid. He's sitting here in first. Can he go back-to-back lap 78 out of lap 90? We're going to have about 12 laps to go when they take the green here. Pace car lights are off. What a night it could be for Bobby Terrell.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, this thing ain't over until the fat lady gets up and sings, Cowboy, and I hear the band starting to warm up. But I tell you what, from Randy Wells on forward, look at these guys: Chad Cole, Eric Malik putting up a good fight here early in the race tonight. Nathan Little sneaking in there with the 97 machine. David Lanza back here in 6th in that 33 truck. This thing ain't over by a long shot, Cowboy. Sean Casto putting the pressure on Reuter here about 20 laps ago. Had the lead, gave it up, but and went backwards. So I tell you, like you said, Mike, we'll have about 11 laps to go here when they pick up the green flag. So this should be an exciting finish.
And I think it will, as the pace car are going to come down pit road here. Hopefully for the final time here tonight, Bobby Terrell in that red machine going to pick up the green flag, and we're back racing.
2 2x2 all the way back to the 46. Make that the 33 machine, David Lanza. He falls in behind the 46 back here, Randy Wells. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a mad dash to the start-finish line. Sean Costo, 7th position in the 67 machine. He's looking to get it back, what he had before up there when he was duking it out with Reuter. Up on the top side, down the backstretch into turn 3, 2x2 up here at Chicagoland Speedway. So I'll tell you what, 79 laps in the books. They'll come around and put 80 in. 20 to go here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Man, look at that. Caution out now, JD. Caution is out. And a couple of trucks involved. Douglas Wyatt running 24th, taking a hard lick to the outside wall coming out of turn 4. 71 truck also involved. Larry King.
Let's take it back and take a look here. You're absolutely right. All the way back in the pack here, coming down the back stretch, going into turn 3. And it's got a good position up here on the top, but starts getting loose here. And in front of, well, I got to roll it backwards here again, see if I can find it. I can't tell who that is. I think it's a 71 machine of Larry King and Douglas Wyatt. And again, E-ticket right here coming off turn 4. And oh, that was a heck of a slam he took from the 71.
Yeah, and he hit that outside wall there right in front of the flagman. No choice but to throw the yellow there. And that's going to set it back up, JD, for probably a little bit of a short dash here. What could be 6 to 7 laps if we go back green. And, you know, some folks wondering where Joe Reuter is. Well, he's all the way back in 15th. Scott Granberg, who's led a lot of the laps, majority of the laps here tonight too, back in 21st. I don't know if there's enough time for these guys to get back up there, but there's a lot of hungry drivers up front wanting to win, and Bobby Terrell wanting to do it back-to-back. He's in first.
You bet, and doesn't look like we're going to get too many takers come down pit road. Of course, I'm sure your top 10, they're all going to stay out here. They know what kind of business they got to tend to up here. But I tell you, Randy Wells in that 46 machine, he's back, kind of back where he started here before that that third caution back on lap 74. So I don't know, he might have enough to get up there and duke it out with the leaders. He was coming on strong in that last half, but I'll tell you, Bobby Terrell and Chad Cole, there's a couple of tough customers to beat up there, Mike. Also,
the 08 machine, Kyle Taraska, getting his way back up into the front here. He's worked himself. He's been edging ever so closely up to the front, JD. He was 13th earlier on in the race. He moved up to 10th. Now he's 8th. We're back under caution. Get a good restart here. He can work his way back into maybe up into 7th, 6th, get by Sean Castro there, Eric Malik. Who knows? Anything can happen here, and Chad Cole's up there in 2nd now. So that'll be fun to see if Chad Cole can get through the gears really good here. He's really good and strong in the car, and the truck also as well.
All right, and I'll tell you what, as we follow the pace car around here at Chicagoland Speedway, I think, Mike, we got Bobby Terrell on the radio.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell, got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir, I'll copy you.
Man, take us back a couple of weeks ago, winning at Homestead Miami Speedway. You've worked your way up into the #1 spot here at Chicagoland. I don't want to put the JINX on you just yet, but man, that truck's looking mighty good up front, buddy.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. Chad's fast, Nathan's fast, Randy's fast. You know, I'm in a good position, but we'll just see how it plays out.
Now, going back to the green flag pit stop, we saw Scott Granberg and Joe Reuter, 2 teammates that pretty much majority ruled the race early on. Now they're stuck back in 19th, and Reuter's in 15th. I think the laps are starting to wind down here, so those guys who are fast early on may not be able to catch you, but like you said, you got your hands full up there in the front with Chad Cole, Nathan Little, Randy Wells, and don't count out Sean Castro. That guy's been up there, and he put a little bit of the heat on Reuter earlier, Bobby.
All right. Yeah, I just trying to show some patience, and you know, it's kind of worked out in my favor right now.
All right, well, good luck, man. The rest of the way, you got a couple of laps to go. Pace light's still on the pace car. and look forward to talking to you in Victory Lane if you can get that number 14 truck in there.
I'm going to do my best, man.
All right, thank you, Bobby.
It'll be a good show anyway.
Absolutely, thank you, Bobby. That's Bobby Terrell, Homestead's winner a couple of weeks ago, getting it done out front. JD, can he do it again? 2 in a row.
Can he do it again? I'll tell you what, Cowboy. He's got luck on his side. Being up there in the front with clean air. But he's got the likes of that number 7 machine, Chad Cole. I've seen what that Cowboy can do in a Cup car. Have not seen him race in a truck before, but if Chad Cole holds true with what he can do in a Cup car, I'll tell you what, Cowboy. Bobby Terrell's got a fight on his hand up there if he can hang on to it. But let's see if we can't get one more plug in here before this thing goes green. I want to talk to you about the iLeague Race, iLeagueRace.com, one-stop shop for iRacing leagues. Looking for a total website and points management, custom scoring protocols, complete scheduling and management of series and events, even a blog to set up to recap your race. iLeague Race also provides driver and team signups with integration of APIs such as scoring tickers and points updates. I'll tell you what, if you've got an iRacing league, you need iLeague Race, iLeagueRace.com. Check them boys out over there for all your scoring needs. And I'll tell you what, I'm anxious, getting ready to get this thing going one more time. We put 84 laps. It'll be 85 when they come across the line. 5 laps to go here at Chicagoland Speedway. Michael, we are absolutely on the downhill side, and I can't wait to get this thing going.
Yeah, and JD, if a caution were to come out in the next couple of laps, we could see it end under caution, and Bobby Terrell, now he's focused. No more looking at the rearview mirror as the pace car dips down low. The green flag in the air. Bobby Terrell to the lead. Chad Cole underneath. Nathan Little not giving up a fight there. So Chad Cole is now in the 2nd position, and Bobby Terrell's going to have his hands full.
I was surprised that Chad Cole didn't ramp it up there right from the get-go. A little bit slow on the restart for Chad Cole. Not used to seeing. Oh, as he's peeking, he's taking a look. Chad Cole
block.
Looking around on that 14 machine. He went to the top side up there, but Chad Cole not able to find a hole around as he gets wicked loose coming off turn 4.
Chad Cole giving that truck all that he can. Now the 97 of Nathan Little starting to sneak his Chevrolet up there in the 2nd position as he tries to work the outside. No room up top. Bobby Terrell holding on to the lead here with the 4 to go.
The 97 of Nathan Little sneaking up onto the 7. Oh, the caution is out.
Caution's out, and this one's the big one. 9 truck, Eric Malik involved, and I believe that's what's going to start it. He was in the 5th position, came up just too much on Sean Casto, and JD, that may have ended it. I know it ended Sean Casto's night because that truck blew an engine hitting the inside wall there in the backstretch.
Rolling it back here, trying to take a look here, Mike, and got Casto coming. These guys are coming off of turn 2. And you're absolutely right. Eric Malik just right up into the 67, and I tell you that starts a huge pile up here coming off of turn 2. And I think you're right, Mike. I think I see the officials gathered around the flag stand over there. We may be seeing the checkered flag and the yellow at the same time here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, and that took a lot of drivers out of that wreck coming from the 5th position. Look at all those trucks there on the screen there, guys, just spinning left and right, really nowhere to go. And then too, JD, everybody knows that the next caution that comes out, that's it. So I don't think anyone's lifting. I think they're all trying to, just, go through there, close your eyes, as the spotter's telling them, close your eyes and just drive the truck straight, because you got to try to pick up as much positions as possible. And so I didn't see a lot of lifting during that wreck.
Well, that's what they're paid to do, get out there and race the race cars, and that's exactly what they're doing. So it's not unusual to see that kind of racing at the end of the race. I mean, this is your last shot. You got to give it your all. Like I said, that's what you get paid to do. So, I don't like seeing races end in a caution like that, but I do love seeing the battles that they put on here at the last few laps. But I think now it's unofficial right now. Bobby Terrell is out in front. We won't call him the winner quite yet. but I believe unofficially Bobby Terrell is going to go home the winner. Chad Cole, Nathan Little, Randy Wells. I kept talking about him late in the race here tonight, guys. Really respectable run for him. Top 5 finish for him if this thing ends under caution. Of course, David Lanza with a solid top 5 finish here at Chicagoland Speedway as well. So unofficial results put Bobby Terrell up in front, but we won't know here for about another lap or so.
And then look at that. Kyle Taraska up there, 6th position, JD. What I tell you, working his way up from 13th, 10th, 8th, and there you go. Picked up 2 more positions in 6th. Nicholas Silver getting the job done, coming home in 7th. And then the points leader, Rick McBride, who's 4 up on Doug Roth, finishing 8th. So not a bad night for him. He did not get involved with that wreck, which is a good thing. Lawrence Phillips finishing 9th. And Doug Roth, who's sitting 2nd in points, finished in the top 10. And where did the guy who led most of the laps finish? Joe Reuter? The show finished 11th. Not a bad run for him, respectively, having to be trapped down a lap, JD.
You bet. Joe Reuter put on a fantastic show up here early in the race, actually about 3/4 of the race. And then, of course, caution flag back on, I believe it was lap 74. Kind of ended that for him. Got trapped on pit road with that one, put him in a lap down, so had to restart mired in the back. But back to Kyle Taraska here for just a minute, guys. Kyle Taraska in that number 8 machine at 08. I know that he spent some time in the studio today with John Wessling doing some sound checks. They're gearing up for the new radio show coming to ETV Live, the Pit Report, kind of firing it back up again. Kyle Taraska and Josh Gerlach have a whole brand new format, and looking for a lot of good things coming out of those 2 guys. So Kyle Taraska and Josh Gerlach, look for them on January 24th at 7:30 p.m. The show runs from 7:30 to 8:30, I believe, on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio. So.
And of course, Bobby Terrell now, JD, being shown your official race winner. Chad Cole again, 2nd, and we've ran through what would be unofficial a couple of minutes ago is now official. So this one's in the books. Chicagoland's over with, and Bobby Terrell winning 2 in a row, JD. So with that being wrapped up, we're going to give Bobby Terrell a little bit of burnout time, and we're going to go to a quick commercial. And then when we return, 2nd place finisher Chad Cole in the booth with us, and Bobby Terrell in Gatorade Victory Lane. Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over Dwayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in 2nd. You know, when we got 1 car on the bottom, the 10 cars.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to ETV's live coverage that's now officially over in the books. Chicagoland Speedway in the Outlaw Truck Series, where Bobby Terrell, where I'm standing by with Victory Lane with him. Bobby, back-to-back wins, man. How does it feel?
It feels good, man.
Bobby,
that was a nail biter.
It really was. Talk to us about a couple of weeks ago, that picking up that first win of the season there, race number 2 at Homestead. That was an exciting finish as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Homestead, gives you a lot of, that win gave me a lot of momentum going into this race, and I was just trying to be patient, and I had a little luck, put myself in a good position, and grabbed the win.
And you came into tonight's race at Chicagoland 9 points back from Rhett McBride, who finished 8th, but that win may solidify you up into the top-notch number 1 bracket as we go to Michigan next week. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds good. It's good to be in that number 1 spot, maybe, or tied with it.
And of course, Bobby, we know that you couldn't get it done without some sponsors that you'd like to throw out and give a shout out to.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Trek, Team Honda, my teammates, and my family.
Absolutely, Bobby. Well, good luck next week at Michigan, where the 17th can't get here soon enough, sir.
I agree.
All right, JD. Absolutely, man. 3 in a row wouldn't be bad, would it?
No, I'll take it.
There you have it, folks. Race winner, happy as can be, the 14th truck. Man, I tell you, putting one heck of a block move on the number 7 machine, JD, Chad Cole, who you're standing with.
I tell you what. Down here on pit road with Chad Cole, driver of the number 7 machine. Now, Chad, I got to take you back to the Full Throttle Cup Series. I know what this cowboy can do in a Cup car, but what's it like driving these trucks? I believe this is your first time out in this series.
Yeah, it is. I'm no stranger to the trucks, though. They're a lot easier to handle than the Cup car, I'll tell you that much. Those Cup cars are just absolute beasts. These trucks are so much nicer. You can just about flat-footed around the track without lifting a whole lot.
Well, I seen the helicopter land a little bit late at the track here today. Did you get kind of a late start? I see you started way back in the back of the pack, or was that on purpose?
Yeah, that was by design. I'm not going for points in the Thursday night, so just start in the back and have a little fun with the boys, and we definitely had fun with the boys there. Mixing it up there on that long green run. I was really hoping it'd play out and go green all the way, but we got those 3 yellows at the end, and that's just the way it goes, though. I was hoping to get them on some pit straight, just go splash of fuel there at the end. I think I needed 7 laps worth or so of gas, and was hoping to get them there.
Outstanding. And, one question I got for you, Chad, before I cut you loose here. I seen what you can do in a Cup car. Is driving these trucks, does it take a different skill set? Or you find them pretty much similar? I mean, is there a huge difference between the trucks and the cars at Chicagoland Speedway?
Oh, it is so much different. They're just so much easier to drive. It's hard to put into words how much easier it is, really.
All right. Hey, Chad Cole finishing 2nd here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. Who made it happen for you, bud?
Yeah, the boys at RSR. I won the race last night, and that got me an entry into tonight's race. And of course, you guys at ETV for always doing a fine job on the broadcast for us, getting the real sim race and league out there.
Absolutely appreciate the plug there, Chad. Congratulations on 2nd place trophy here tonight. Take it back up. I think Michael Keaton just caught his breath. He had to haul ass down the stairs out down the pit road. I believe he's caught up with Nathan Little, the driver of that 3rd place finisher tonight.
Yeah, another driver that had his work cut out for him at the beginning of this race, starting all the way back in 28th. Nathan, it wasn't easy, man, working all the way up to through from 28th to 3rd.
No, it sure was. We battling back on flu-like symptoms today, and had to keep some fluids in me before the race or whatever, and tried to follow Chad up through there, but, you know, it's hard to do, you all know.
Yeah, Nathan, back on lap 76, you wasn't exactly in position to finish in third. You were back in 12th position when you pitted, and then the green flag took its way, and you worked that 97 Go-Cat Chevrolet truck up into the third position. How was that for you?
Well, I just took 2 tires. I figured I need more guys taking them, but me and Bobby took them, and I think Bobby took 2 tires anyway, but I was hoping I took them guys off. It was looking pretty good there coming down to the end, but that caution come out and screwed us all up a little bit.
And Nathan, that being your first top 10, top 5 of the season, we're 3 races into this thing. You're 42 laps down from the leader, Rhett McBride, as it stands currently. But with a third-place finish, you're probably going to move up into the 15th position, somewhere along those lines. The official standings will be updated here in a little bit. But talk about momentum, you know, going into Michigan next week.
Yeah, coming off this race, I just try to keep it clean. I used to try to go for the win all the time and all that junk, but just riding around the back and slowly working my way up is working out pretty good for me.
Absolutely. And Nathan, anybody you'd like to thank, bud?
Well, my girlfriend, she once again hates this crap, but it's like kind of a passion for me, so I love doing it. And that's about it. UK, of course. The cat's on the hood there. Looking to bring it home again this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all have to get permission, Nathan, from our wives and our girlfriends to do this, so we understand exactly what you're going through, and we wish you luck next week at Michigan, sir.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it, folks. Nathan Little, JD finishing third tonight, and we mentioned Chad Cole finishing second, but I believe the big payout goes to Bobby Terrell, who got home in first tonight at Chicagoland, back-to-back wins, putting a little bit of a block move on the backstretch on Chad Cole there. But, hey, I tell you what, racing's racing in the Outlaw Truck Series. Points are up. And I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to find out who's on top next week. We'll hold that and keep it a secret and a surprise. And, JD, any closing thoughts?
I'll tell you what, 90 laps in a truck at Chicagoland Speedway, mile-and-a-half track. Kind of a unique situation here tonight. 5 cautions, and I'll tell you what, you know, right up to the last couple of laps. What a night at Chicagoland Speedway. And, you know, these guys here at Real Sim Racing, they know how to put on a hell of a good show. We've been doing it with these guys for a couple of seasons now. And I'm looking forward to the 2013 starting up in February. Remember, catch the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series on Monday nights, back in the saddle again here on ETV Live, sponsored by Bob Earl Racing. And again on Thursday nights, if you can't get your fill of racing with Real Sim Racing League, I tell you what, Cowboy, you just ain't got it. But Thursday nights of the Asphalt Assault, that's sponsored by the Inside Sim Racing Group, Darren Gandry and his guys. So I tell you, ain't nobody better, Real Sim Racing League, right here on ETV Live, Mike.
Absolutely, and I'll give you a hint. The new points leader's got 2 wins, and he's won them back-to-back. We'll see you next week at Michigan. So long, everyone.